So I had a heart attack. I'm gonna tell you a little story about it. But just wanted to reiterate, this is John, the Bumbling Golfer, episode 25 of the Bumbling Golfer podcast. So this is a little bit different of a subject, let's say. Um, Not golf related for the most part. It's more of a kind of a life lesson if you want to take it. I don't have a huge following. I don't have a ton of followers. I don't have a giant YouTube channel, but I do have a little bit of reach, right? And I know that there's a lot of people out there that actually will listen or watch at least a small part. I'm going to try to edit this accordingly, at least for like reels and stories. But I'm a 46-year-old guy. I think I've mentioned that a few times. I've been very healthy my entire life, for the most part. I've had always had issues with weight, up and down fluctuation. A few years ago, on my other podcast, the Bumbling Yeti, I did a podcast about some numbers that I had. I went to my family doctor, got a blood workup, all that kind of stuff, and my numbers were crazy. They were just outrageous. And when I talk about numbers, I'm talking about like triglycerides, cholesterol, blood sugar, you name it. I had high blood pressure, excuse me, basically my entire life. Um, there's a lot of hereditary things as well. But up until recently, I never took medication on a regular basis. If I had a headache, I'd take Advil or whatever. Um, I suffered through seasonal allergies, all that kind of stuff, and you know, I saw my dad for essentially my entire life take so much medication that I just was always like, I don't want to take medication. So that's kind of a precursor to it. Those of you who watch me know that like this past summer, I had some pretty cool adventures. A lot of them were solo. And, I was in Canada, I was in the US, and I was in Mexico in one day. And thinking about this, it makes me think, it just makes me think a little bit more. I was in Tijuana, Mexico. I mean, who knows what would happen if I would have felt not right. So, not saying they don't have great facilities there. I just don't know, right? It's a foreign place to me, not a foreign country, just foreign to me. It's a place I've never been to. So that was one thing. I play an awful lot of golf by myself, by my like later in the evening, no one on the course, that kind of stuff. So leading up to this life event that I had, because I'm just going to call it what it is. And again, the reason that I'm sharing this is because if I can help one person understand what it felt like, or what I went through, stuff like that. Look, at the end of the day, I'm just a regular guy, regular dude. I say that all the time, but this is like serious life stuff. And I think as guys, I'll just throw it out there. We don't go to the doctor. We don't When we have a pain, we just kind of get over it and we move on. So I'll get into that in a second, but um, I played one outside round of golf probably since July 20th of this year. And that was the Golf Creator Open. So there's more to come on that as well. Hoping to have Esteban or Chris on to kind of recap how that all went. It was a great time. So I went and played there, had a really good time, met some great people. That Creator Open. I hope I get to go back. I hope they'll have me back. It was really, really fun. Um, but went down, had a great time, and yeah. So that was the. I think we flew to Florida on the third. My wife and I flew to Florida on the third, played on the fourth, came home on the fifth. So it was a very quick trip. Came home. Unfortunately, got home Sunday and we had an older cat and had to actually have her put down that Monday. So we get through the work week, just kind of normal, getting back to business and what I had to do, work and all that good stuff. And Sunday night, I guess Sunday afternoon, I was tired like all day. Just felt like I was exhausted, just probably from traveling or whatever. I can make up any excuse at this point. But Monday comes, Monday the 13th of October, and just getting through my day, felt good. No issues, no concerns. And around, oh, I don't know, let's see, my wife gets home probably around like 3 o'clock or so. I walked out of my office here. I said to my wife, I was like, hey, I don't, something just felt weird. I'm going to jump in the shower. We're going to go down to the hospital. So she said, okay, cool. So I jumped in the shower, um, and went down to the hospital. We have great hospitals here, in the area where I live. Again, I live out just outside of Philadelphia and went to a hospital called Bryn Mawr Hospital. It's part of Mainline Health, and I could not have been treated any better. Um, the emergency room, the doctors, the nurses, just unbelievably top notch. So I want to explain kind of what led me to this feeling. So I've talked about this at times. I have a terrible history in my family on my mom's side of heart problems, right? So my grandfather was 52 when he died of a massive heart attack. My uncle was 38. By the way, my uncle was the absolute my favorite human being in history. He was 38. And then my mom passed at 72. She had a couple heart attacks, stents, the whole nine yards. So when I say I'm a little bit more sensitive to it, I think that's why, right? Because I know. Oh, and by the way, my cousin, um, he had a heart attack as well. Um, I guess he's probably like 50, early 50s. So I just didn't feel right, and I want to explain this, and I want to explain it very, very clearly. It wasn't a fall down heart attack. It wasn't a, oh, fall down on the floor, call 911, all that. It was an odd feeling, like a little tight, like, and when I tell you the snap of a finger, it was tight and it was gone. Never felt anything again. But it was enough for me to think to myself, let me just go get checked, right? Because I remember my mom telling me about when she had her heart attack. I remember my cousin telling me. I remember I have several friends, young people, matter of fact, that have had heart attacks as well. So I figured might as well just go. So get to the hospital. Long story short, get blood work. Sat in the emergency room for several hours since I didn't feel like anything was wrong. I felt completely normal. Never, and still to this moment. Today is November 10th, 2025. I haven't had that feeling again since. Even like for that one, I'm telling you, the snap of a finger. That's how long it lasted. But it was a quick tight, and then everything was good. So get to the hospital, and I don't want to get too far into the details, but sat there for a couple hours because I wasn't complaining. There were people that had much bigger issues than I did. They were coming in and out, and so we just sat there talking and hanging out. And then after a few hours, the one of the nurses came and got me, and they kind of rushed me back, and they said that my heart enzymes were like super high. Um, I'm not going to discuss the numbers, but my heart enzymes were super high, which led to them to believe that I had some sort of event with my heart. They were asking me all these questions, all like it was just like boom, boom, boom. I had an IV. Next thing I know, I'm on blood thinners, bagging, blah, the whole thing. Again, never one time felt anything different than I felt every other day. And I didn't feel like I had anything wrong with me. I thought they were just going to be like, look, you're good. Maybe it was just like anxiety, stress, exhaustion, whatever. So go back, do that. And again, the doctors start coming in and they're like, do you feel this? Do you feel that? And then next thing I know, they're saying that you have to go get an MRI or a CAT scan of my lungs because they thought that maybe I had passed a blood clot through my heart into my lungs. And then I started freaking out. And my wife's sitting there and she's just kind of, going along with it and being super strong and helpful. I wasn't really scared at that point because I thought it was just, again, I thought it was like an anxiety thing. And then they started telling me about numbers and saying this, when this happens, we think that, when this happens, it leads us to believe that this happened. And at the end of the day, I had a heart attack. Um, so I went and got my CAT scan. Everything was clear. Lungs were clear. Everything looked good. No issues. They do believe that there might have been a blood clot that passed through my heart. Um, but again, apparently that's not super abnormal. Like your body will, like there's blood clots that go through, but like some of them are a non-issue, right? You never even know that it happens. Other ones can be deadly. So, um, a couple hours still there in the emergency room. Again, felt fine, felt great. Really was taken care of, and finally they got me to a room. They got me to a room probably right around 11:30 p.m. midnight ish. Um, so get up to the room, and then again they're keeping me on this blood thinner. They're pumping this thing through me. It was when I tell you it was moving, it was like moving. So went through that whole thing. My blood sugar, which I'm still dealing with right now, was really high. It was really high, and that meant that I had to be on insulin because my blood sugar wasn't coming down. So my cholesterol was high, and it, from what I understand, I mean, I'm not saying I was completely healthy, right? I didn't always eat great, but I never really ate terribly. Cholesterol was high, blood sugar was high, blood pressure was high, all that kind of stuff. Again, keep in mind, I never took any medication for any of this stuff my entire life. I was very adverse to it. I never really wanted to take it. I still don't want to take it. But again, the most important thing is I felt that little boom, and it was a split second, and just something felt wrong. And by the way, no pain down my arm, nothing. It was completely out of the blue. So get up to the room again. They're doing all this stuff. I'm taking this medication, blood thinner, all this stuff. And again, could not have gotten better care from anywhere. It was the nurses were amazing. I had this uh, uh, a male nurse he was great. I think it was like his first night alone. He did a great job. All the nurses after that, um, I guess the physician, not the physician assistants, but like the patient care techs, unbelievably just so professional and just very, very kind. So I stayed there that night. My wife went home very late, and she came back the next day. So doctors came in. They basically said, "Look, you had a heart attack. We're going to go in. They're going to do a heart catheterization, and they're going to check out, see what's going on in there." So it's not really, I don't know if you can see it, but right there's a little dot. So this is my right hand. It looks a little weird, but that's my right hand. So right there, that little dot is where they stuck this, I'll just call it like a fish. Like if you're fishing something through your wall, they put that up there and they were checking things out. And um the doctor is like so top notch. I'm gonna mess up his name. I'm not gonna say his name. But he knew my family's history, and so that happened very quick. They said I was going to go there at 4 o'clock. They came at 2 o'clock. They're like, "You have to go right now." I jumped into bed. I remember very vividly looking into the room to my right and just seeing my wife sit there, and I didn't know if I was ever going to see her again. So like that is when it got real for me because I remember laying in the bed, right, feeling completely helpless. And when I got there, so I get in bed, and this is wild. I get in the bed and I'm going down the hallway, and I'm just like, is this my last ride ever? Is this the last thing I'm ever going to see for the rest of my life? Like, is my life going to be over? Am I like all of these things are going through my mind? It was really at that moment where I'm like, oh, like this could be it. Now, I get to the cath lab, and it was one of the coolest places I've ever seen. There are just TVs and monitors and all this stuff hanging all over the place. The staff in there, the nurses were I can't even explain how great this hospital was. And the care that I had, I'm going to talk about it a lot. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I go in and I lay on this bed, and just right away they start like doing things, right? Connecting me with leads and doing all this stuff. And they said, "Don't worry." I'm freaking out. Like I am freaking out. And they're like, "Don't worry about it. We're gonna give you some stuff. It'll take the edge off. You'll be kind of." And by the way, I was up the entire time. I don't think I was fully there, but I was there. And um, I remember two things. It's gonna be really funny. The first thing was they had to prep me for not only for this spot here, but they also had to prep me like just below the waist if they couldn't get in, to the arteries that way. So or through my wrist. Thankfully, they were able to do that because apparently it's a lot less recovery time. But I was in there and I remember the doctor coming in and saying, "Hey, John, here's what's going to go on. You're going to feel this. You're going to feel that. If you feel anything other than that, let us know. We'll give you some more stuff to take the edge off." I said, "Okay." I said, "Doctor, you do what you got to do." And I'm in and out, kind of in and out, but I felt, and this was crazy to me, technology and healthcare is wild. They put this little fish thing in my arm, and I felt it go all the way up my arm. Sorry, all the way up my arm and across my chest. And I stopped feeling it like kind of right about here. But if you think about that technology, like someone's in there fishing something through your artery, right? Like insane. So they're doing that, and I felt it, and you know, again at that point, I was kind of out a little bit in, but then I remember a light, right, like right in front of my face, and I was like, is it? I said, "Is that light supposed to be there?" And the doctor says, "Yep, we need that light there." And when I tell you it was in front of my face, it probably wasn't that close, but it felt like it was like almost touching the tip of my nose. So through that process, um, they just did their thing. The doctor did his thing. The nurses did their thing. And I remember the doctor, I felt like his face was right here. And he says, "John, John." And I said, "Doctor, what's going on?" He goes, "You're all done. Everything's good." He goes, "You had two blockages, or not blockages." He said, "You had two narrowings, which is apparently a little bit different than blockages, but it's kind of the same thing, right? It just pinches the blood flow off." He said, "You're done. Everything went really, really great. Everything's going to be fine. You're good." And yeah, I remember telling him, that I loved him. He he was my mom's doctor too, and he talked so highly about her, and he just kept telling me. He said, "You're good. Everything's fine. You're going to be just fine. We're good." And he said, "Your heart is amazingly healthy." He said, "You had two narrowings." He said, "We put two stents in." He goes, "But everything else is perfect." He said, "We took pictures." He said, "We'll follow up with you in a little bit." Got off the bed, and I didn't get off the bed. They actually have, it's like an like a hydro, what do they call it? Like oh, what are they called? They can go on the land or the water. What, I can't remember what the name is now, but it was like a bed that like filled up with air, and he just slid me onto the other bed. I went back and I was kind of in recovery, and again had amazing care. And then from there they took me back up to my room. I got off of that bed. I walked to my bed in the room. I was good to go. Again, my wife was there, super supportive. She was amazing through the whole entire thing. Um, just really great through the whole thing. I had my kids came and visited me. My sister came and visited me, which was great. Wasn't really happy about being in hospital, but again, had amazing care. It was super top notch. I had my own room. It was great. Um, so then from there, um, it was just basically being monitored, right? So blood sugar, all that kind of stuff. And they were giving me insulin, I think every maybe once a day or something like that. So I know I'm rambling, but it's important. I want everyone to understand here's what I want. I want one person out of all of this, hopefully listens to this entire thing and understand it's okay to go to the doctor, get checked out. Because no matter how old you are, how young you are, no matter what your eating habits are, no matter how much exercise you do, I was told that this was more hereditary than anything. They said that no matter what I did for my entire life leading up to that day, that was going to happen anyway. Maybe not that day, maybe before, maybe after. Who knows? Um, so again, I have a stents put in, good to go. The nurses took care of me the rest of the night. They took the pressure cuff off. Everything was good. I didn't, I had no complications whatsoever. I'm just taking the medications they said. I'm doing my thing, letting, you know, uh, Jesus take the wheel, if you want to think of it that way. But thought about a lot of stuff in there, right? A lot of stuff because I had, I made sure my wife was able to go home and sleep. That was important to me. But at the same time, I want to just be very clear about myself is that, lots of thinking in there, right? I mentioned in my documentary that I did this past summer. Shameless plug if you haven't watched it, go check it out. Chasing Daylight. It's amazing. Um, I don't really do much for myself. And I always took a lot of stuff for granted. And I still, honestly, I still take stuff for granted. I think we all do. Um, but I thought to myself a lot, like, why do I not enjoy life a little bit more? So, um, so that's that thing. So I did do a lot of thinking. It's what's important to me. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Anything that I do is important to me, right? Whether I'm working, whether I'm playing golf, whether I'm hanging with my wife, which by the way, that's pretty much all I want to do at this point. We'll get back into the golf thing slowly. Actually, I swung the other day, which was good. But um, listen to the doctors, listen to the nurses. My doctor came in. One of the doctors from the practicing office came in and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "Look, I just want to let you know." He's like, "You're not your mom. You're not your uncle. You're not your aunt." He said, "We took a picture of your heart." And this is exactly what he said, word for word. He said, "We took a picture of your heart. You have nothing to worry about. It's pristine." He said, "We took care of the parts that needed help. You're not going to have a problem with that. Follow our orders. Make sure you take this medication. Make sure you do this and you get regular checkups." And that's what I'm going to do. I left the hospital, I think, 10 pounds lighter over 2 days. 2 days. So that was Wednesday. They came in, they did an EKG. Or no, they did a echocardio. So it's like an ultrasound of your heart. And it just reiterated everything was good. All the blood flow is great. Everything's perfect, literally perfect. Everything's working exactly how it should work. My blood pressure was down because again, I'm on a couple different medications. I'm medication for it's like a blood thinner that I'm gonna have to be on, from what I understand, for the rest of my life to make sure that the blood platelets, like an antiplatelet, it won't get stuck on the stent, so it'll just keep things going through, or on the stents. Also on a cholesterol medication, and I'm on a like a blood pressure medication. They said that I can oh, and by the way, I'm on insulin 4 times a day. 4 times. It's very little. It's not a lot. It's just to try to get it. My blood sugar, if you want to look it up, my blood sugar was like 307. It should be at like 100. It should be between 70 and 100. Um, and I'm there now, which is good. Um, I, my fingers are like toast. Like I basically go between these two fingers and these two fingers. And I check my blood sugar 4 times a day, which is, again, part of the deal. This I'm all in, right? If I'm going to do something for myself, I might as well do this because if I don't, who knows what happens. So, but the good thing is that sounds like I'll be able to get off the insulin, which is great. I just have to manage through exercise and diet, which again is not a problem when, you know, when you're told if you don't do this, you're going to die sooner, much sooner than later. Um, and then should be able to get off the cholesterol medication at some point. Should be able to get off the blood pressure medicine at some point. Again, through diet and exercise, or maybe I don't. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the medication's there. I understand how it works. I understand why it works. I understand why it's important. And so that's that. So that was Monday. I went into the emergency room. Tuesday had the stents put in. Wednesday, they said that I could go home. So again, following everything I have to follow. I wanted to put this out really quickly, um, but I just wanted to be sure, right? I just wanted to be sure that I understood as much as I can about it. And again, this isn't about me. This is more about whomever listens to this. If you know someone who may not be have the healthiest habits, you know someone who might feel a certain way, you know someone who might have a history. Look, I have kids, right? I have a new wife, um, and I want to enjoy life, right? Like I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I just want anyone out there to understand that you should probably just go get checked. That's all. I'm not going to get preachy about it. I'm not going to get you have to do like it's honestly it's none of my business, but if there's anything that I think can help anyone, I'm going to try it. It's just kind of what I do, right? I heard my mom talk about her heart attacks and hopefully she was able to help someone, which I think she said enough to people that they would get checked out. Me, my sister checked out, my cousins getting checked out. Um, just really thankful, just really thankful. And it's not a hey, I'll never be like, oh, I almost died. Like I probably almost died worse when I was younger, right? Or I was probably closer to death when I was younger. This one wasn't like super close, but it was an eye opener. And you know, I, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just fine. It's still a little bit of a mind f if you think about it, and I'm okay with that, right? It's like a reminder. The first time I went out by myself, so scared. I was scared out of my mind. Um, but I just remember what the doctor said. They're like, look, do what we say. You're going to be just fine. Like, follow the rules, John. Follow this plan, and everything's going to be just fine. That's really what I wanted to say about this. All I ask is that you're aware of what's going on. I was back to work the following Monday. Um, Zero restrictions. And then I had some follow ups, and I'm on a plan. I don't have to go back. That, by the way, the doctors and the physician's assistants, all the people that I've talked to, they're very impressed with what I've done so far. My numbers are dialed, and I'm a data nerd, so I have a trended pivot chart of my blood sugar levels. I took it into the doctor. They were pretty impressed. Anyone who's like a data nerd or like loves spreadsheets, like would love this. It's amazing. I digress. There's a few people that I really want to thank. Obviously, my wife, number one. She's just been absolutely amazing. Um, took me, drove me down, stayed very calm, you know, never once kind of flinched, and that's amazing. The doctors, Mainline Health, Bryn Mawr, I can't say enough good things about that hospital. And by the way, like people talk about hospital food, it was banging. Not even gonna lie, I ate really good when I was there. Um, my kids, super happy, super thankful you came and saw me. Even though it might have been a shock to you. And my sister, thank you for coming. I want to also thank because I reached out to a few people. I reached out to most of the people who support me as far as the golf stuff goes. Right. Thank you to Justin at Scramble House. It's been you know been a super solid guy, one of the greatest human beings I've ever met, regardless of what you may think about him on social media. And then I reached out to Joel Moody at Factor Golf. He was actually supposed to be here in the area. We were going to be playing golf. Just didn't work out, but we'll get out. Joel will get out at some point. You, Andrew, and I will get out somehow. I want to thank Monica at Wash Yourself Wipes. Reached out to her as well. I just kind of was letting people know why I wasn't posting. I know it's not a big deal, but like at the same time, I had to keep my mind busy. Monica, I'm so thankful for you. Joel, so thankful for you. I reached out to a couple other people. Nate at Acorn Hills, just been he's, I think, we're friends, right? So, and I appreciate that. AD, Anthony Durso Photography. And when I talked with you, you continue to check in. Troy, thank you. There's so many, right? There's so many, but I you know, I'm kind of, I know I'm mumbling on here, but it's that kind of stuff why I do this, right? I could sit here and just talk about all this cool stuff with golf, right? But the one thing that you'll always get from me is transparency and honesty. None of those people owe me anything. And you know what? I don't owe them anything either. But I build partnerships. I build real relationships. It's not because someone pays me. By the way, none of them pay me. None of them. I might have discount codes, but it doesn't matter. And by the way, I don't really ever use discount codes myself because I want them to make money. Also, the guys at Caddy Splash, I appreciate the thoughts. It's been a wild ride for the past couple weeks. I'm feeling amazing, just in time for the outdoor season to end. But hey, again, I got Scramble House of Golf. Um, and then trying to think, there's just so many people I want to thank. You know, yeah, it's pretty much all I have to say. So this wasn't golf related. Oh, you know what? I do want to thank. I want to thank the Grint Tour, Philadelphia chapter. I was invited out to play, and do a little bit of promotional work for them, and I couldn't make it because I didn't have any restrictions, but I also wasn't supposed to do anything for like 2 weeks with my. I couldn't lift anything heavy with my. Oh, excuse me. Anything heavy with my right hand. So I reached out to them and said, "Hey, I'm really sorry." I put an Instagram post out as well. Um, just said I'm really sorry for not being able to be there. And you know what the response was? This is from the Grint tour. The response was, "Hey man, get better. We're going to be here when you're done, when you're better, right? So get better, and you come out and we'll do some work together." That kind of stuff right there reiterates again why I do this. I'm not doing this for money. I'm as real as you get. Like what you see right here is what you get. Um, and that's the most important thing to me because guess what? Like golf, I don't know, am I going to be able to play for another 10, 15 years? Who knows? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I got 1 year left. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is go do something fun. Do what you want to do. I don't want to get preachy on that whole life is short kind of thing. Um, I have a bit of a different outlook, not a very different outlook, but I'm going to start treating myself and my wife to some stuff. And yeah, more golf stuff to come for sure. I'm not done with golf by any stretch of the mean. I have some really cool stuff coming up, but I just want to thank everyone for your support. If you listen to this entire thing, thank you. Um, 2026 is going to be really great. I'm going to, yeah, I'll just get into that later. I don't want to talk anything really about golf. Do yourself a favor. Again, this has nothing to do with me. I'm just sharing because, again, one person goes and gets checked out and says, you know what? Hey, I'm good. If you have young kids, go get checked out. If you have older kids, get checked out. If you have no kids, get checked out. Just do it one time. It's super scary as a guy. Like we don't really get scared at much, but this was a doozy for me. And never had surgery. I had one surgery, but this here was super scary. I feel much better. Going to be doing some things. My anniversary's coming up. My first wedding anniversary is coming up, which is super crazy. But yeah, I appreciate everyone listening, everyone watching. Yeah, that's all I have. So for that episode 25, I'm John the Bumbling Golfer. I had a heart attack and two stents put in, but I'm still here. Thankful for doctors, nurses, my wife, my friends, my family. That's what it's all about. So that's all I can do. All I can do is just bring my story to light. So thank you everyone for listening, everyone for watching. More golf content to come. I got some really great things lined up. So, yep, I'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you. Bye.